Who is Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime? That's a very good question. Well, my story is quite simple. It's a story about being able to turn a little bit of nothing into a whole lot of something. I started this way. Back in 2002, when I was laid off from the best job I'd ever known, I found myself in a situation where I was barely making ends meet and living on my $250 a week unemployment check. The first thing I began to do was pray. And it was then that I truly began to understand the meaning of tithing. So instead of allowing fear to take over, I allowed my faith to kick in. And instead of rushing out to get another job, I began to give my 10% tithe on that $250 I was getting every week. And at the end of some months, I had more than enough. And I took what was left over and invested in building my real estate investment business. I was able to build my real estate investment company into a very lucrative business. And from that, I started other small business ventures, where I was able to help other people realize their potential as well. I started consulting other budding entrepreneurs on how to start their own businesses. I was fortunate enough to help them with a very small amount of startup capital to get their businesses off the ground as well. I was blessed to have done very well as a real estate investor. I created alliances that put me in position to earn multiple six figures a year. And I was able to do it all with none of my own money or credit. I literally made a dollar out of a dime. However, after the dust settled in the wake of the real estate bubble bursting and selling all of my investment properties, I found myself pretty much back at square one. So I had to devise a plan to reinvent myself, as many others did during that time. It was during that time of reinventing myself that I discovered what my true passion was, or is, and it's helping people. I've always had a passion for helping people, but it became even more clear to me when I heard Zig Ziglar say, if you help enough people get what they want, you will automatically get what you want. And I made it my mission to help at least 100 families become financially independent by investing themselves in creating multiple streams of income. And through a strategic alliance with an Inc. 500 company, I was fortunate to find a financial vehicle that I could use to help my mission of helping families become financially independent. Also, I wrote a book called How to Make a Dollar Out of a Dime, where I shared my story of reinvention. Also in the book, I shared information on how to invest in yourself and enterprise your skills. I only put out a rough draft of the book back in 2010, and since then I've learned so much more about investing in yourself and personal development and having faith that I started working on a revised version of the book that is slated to be out next spring of 2014, so stay tuned. Through all my life's lessons of ups and downs, I realized that it's not what happens to you that matters the most, it's what you do about what happens. There's nothing really special about me except the fact that I chose not to give up, although I was challenged with much adversity. Jim Rohn says it this way: it's not the win that determines where we end up in life, it's the setting of the sail. I had to come to grips with the understanding that I may not have been able to change the circumstances that I was faced with at the time, but I could change myself. And through these lessons, I stopped hoping that my situation was better, and I just began to make myself better. And as a result of me working on me, my circumstances began to change. I started to allow myself to see things differently. Because some of you have heard it before, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will soon change. I simply chose not to give up. Les Brown says, life is a fight for territory. And the minute you stop fighting for what you don't want will automatically take over. So who is Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime? I'm just a man that wants to inspire as many people as I can to see in themselves what they may not see. And that it doesn't take a whole lot of money to make a whole lot of money. And you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to be great. And you too can make a dollar out of a dime. My name is Glenn Glasper, affectionately known as Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime, and I look forward to seeing you real soon.